Hi, I'm Harold Bell, and this is the Legends of Inside Sports and the Way We Were. Today, here on Inside Sports, I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Christopher Johnson, and Chris is a graduate of Podgwin High School, and he attended Delaware State University, and he has his own group, his own rock group, the Malloy Experience.
Cortland Experience.
Cortland Experience. Oh, why would we want to say more? Cortland Experience. That's right. And joining us today, we will have double trouble. This would be the Johnson and Johnson show. We got Gary Johnson on the phone. His father, Gary, is the CEO and publisher of BlackMenInAmerica.com. That website has been up for 16 years, and I'm one of the contributors. And welcome to the Legends of Inside Sports, Gary Johnson. How you doing, Gary?
I'm doing great. Thank you all for having me.
Well, hey, man, thanks for taking part. There's a lot of drama going on in the National Football League this past couple of weeks, and looks like heading to the Super Bowl 38, the 38 Super Bowl. It looks like it's going to be all the road goes through Pittsburgh and New England right now. I'm talking about in that particular division, which is where all the drama is coming out of. And when I talk about drama, Chris, I'm talking about there's a heated battle going on between Robert Kraft, the owner, Belichick, the coach, and the franchise quarterback, Tom Brady. What's happening there, man?
It's some juicy drama out of New England. Looks like Brady wants to play forever.
Yeah.
Belichick is the architect. I think you can't discount that this is Bill Belichick's baby. This is the Kraft is there, but Kraft is not building the teams. He's not scheming the defenses. Brady wants to play forever, but Belichick knows that you can't play forever. They had a great backup quarterback in Jimmy Garoppolo, Jimmy G, and he was ready to move on reportedly. Mm-hmm. And Brady pulled the override, went to the owner, and he wants to play till he's 50.
Yeah. And well, that's the thing about that. Garoppolo was the future of the franchise, and you got a guy there who has helped make the franchise and feels that he's in great physical condition that he can play for 4 more years. And that caused some really, really hard feelings between Belichick, the architect of this franchise, who has built it really from nothing. And, of course, it looked like Robert Kraft has taken the side of Tom Brady. What do you think about that, Big Gary?
Well, I think it's a power play. Mm-hmm. I mean, clearly, as you outlined, you have Bill Belichick, who is the modern-day Vince Lombardi.
Right.
By many. And he was overridden by the team owner and the quarterback. So he may show or exercise his leverage at the end of the year, and maybe he'll go someplace else.
Yeah. Well, I'm quite sure there's some place out there for him just by his track record alone. But you know how all this stuff really, really got started and got heated is that Tom Brady's trainer, Guerrero, was in Guerrero? Yeah, that was his partner in this physical fitness thing they got going. And he had the run of the locker room and the football field, doing games. And all of a sudden, Belichick just cut him off completely, and that really started some hard feelings.
Yeah, absolute power corrupts absolutely. And I think Brady is fine. He thinks he's untouchable. I mean, he is. I mean, he's a great Hall of Fame quarterback, but I think he needs to check his value because it's all about the system. And we've never seen what Tom Brady looks like without Bill Belichick. Mm-hmm. So he might be able to play till he's 40, 45 in that system with that coach. But if Tom Brady goes somewhere else or if he gets a different coach, I don't know if he holds the same value.
Well, number one, when I look at this franchise and I look at Bill Belichick, he has survived under all circumstances. People can get hurt, quarterback can get suspended, key players are knocked out of the game. He always finds a way to win.
Don't forget, they went 10-6 with Matt Castle one year.
They sure did. That's right.
ACL.
Right. Gary, what do you think about that when you look at a guy like Bill Belichick and what he's been able to do over the years with or without star players?
I refer to Bill Belichick as Vince Lombardi, and I mean he's probably the greatest football coach in my era,
Yeah.
in my lifetime.
Yeah,
I don't think I'll see anybody better than Bill Belichick. And I agree. Under any circumstances, whatever you threw at him, he was able to scheme. Now, check this out. It would not surprise me if next year we saw Bill Belichick exercise his muscle on the New York Football Giants
That's
sideline.
right.
How about that?
Yeah, that may be a good spot for him. And you know what? The other drama was created. We kind of forgotten it now because of the Kraft, Tom Brady, Belichick charade. James Harris left the Pittsburgh Steelers, and you know, they kicked him to the curb. He said, "Okay, well, watch this. I'm going over here to the New England Patriots." And I thought, man, that was a slick move.
Oh yeah, that's a classic Belichick move. He gets veterans or problem players from other places, and just gets them to conform to that system and plugs them right in.
Yeah,
It's been from Corey Dillon to all these people throughout the years that Randy Moss and all these people that come from other places. He maximizes talent, like you said. He can make whatever work. He's just the hoodie is king.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I am looking forward to is the Pittsburgh Steelers and New England matchup, man. I can't wait for that because a lot of times, Big Gary, sometimes we need to we need to check ourselves. Sometimes it's best to be thoughtful than to open your mouth and remove all doubt. And several of those Pittsburgh players went off on James Harris because he decided to go to New England. He didn't owe them a thing. This is a business. And the National Football League or any of these pro franchises, the NBA, Major League Baseball, there's no thing called loyalty with them, Gary.
I agree. And football players, because of the nature of the game, their lifespan in the game is very short. And if they can maximize it, then they need to. And look, James Harris, they probably lied to him anyway about what they were going to do.
Right.
And he wanted to play.
Right.
So if he gets a chance to play them again in the playoffs,
wow.
I think he's still going to prove he's got something left in the tank.
There's no doubt about it. Chris, what about Antonio Brown? What's the update on him?
Oh, I heard the report that Chad Ocho Cinco has been working out with him, and he said that he looks 100%. He looks good to go. I mean, that's just coming from Chad, but I don't know how reliable of a source that is.
Yeah, how about that?
If AB's ready to go, he is the only unanimous All-Pro that they have on the All-Pro team. He is consensus the most impactful receiver in the game. So that could swing the whole playoff picture.
Right.
That one player, he's that impactful to what the Steelers do.
Right. One of the things, Gary, looking at yesterday's results as far as the wild cards are concerned, I see Tennessee knocked off, of course, Kansas City, man, 22-21, man. Andy Reid is having a tough time when it comes to playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I know the tight end Kelsey got hit and got concussed and was out of the game, but that's got to be a hard blow for the Kansas City Chiefs because they had that game, and they let the Titans come back. They were down.
Yeah. And what about the other game, Chris? Atlanta and, of course, the Rams.
Well, I always thought the Rams overachieved all year. Under our first-year head coach, they've got great weapons. Jared Goff looked like a legitimate quarterback. Sean McVay, former Redskins coordinator, did a great job with that team. Todd Gurley is a man's man at running back, probably the best in the league. So, but they weren't ready. They weren't ready. The Falcons have that playoff experience, and I think that's what took them through. Matt Ryan versus a very young quarterback in Jared Goff. So the Falcons have been there. They're there last year. They handled their business like they were supposed to on the road.
Yeah. Well, one of the things the Falcons really want to get back after that showing last year, they were 28-3, and let New England just come back and just take the game.
Yep. Yeah, they got to do better at running the ball consistently in those crunch time situations. But like I said, on paper, you look at their team, they've got everything. They've got good defensive players. They've built that over the years. They have probably the best receiving core in the league. Probably one of the top 3 receivers in the league in Julio Jones.
Oh, no doubt about it.
And you've got Matt Ryan, who Matty Ice he's as solid as it get at the quarterback position. So, and he's got the experience. Like he's been there.
Well, one of the things Julio Jones has not had the year that he had last year, but he's a threat.
Yeah, still
in
1,400
anytime.
yards.
Yeah, still
That's
1,400 yards.
yeah.
Wow.
He just hasn't been getting in the end zone. I
Okay,
think he only had maybe 3 touchdowns or something like that. So
but he got
he's
1,400.
he's still
Yeah,
ripping
that's
up. Like
it.
a bad year for Julio Jones is a career year for a normal receiver.
Right. Gary, there's another some big news coming out of the NFL is that Jon Gruden has been named the coach of the Raiders. How about that? What do you think about that?
Well, for the Raider fans, they're happy that their boy Chucky is back, and in a big way, at a reported salary of $10 million a year.
Wow.
Which, if you factor then that they're only going to be there for a little while, they're going to Las Vegas. I mean, that Gruden name is going to generate definitely $10 million worth of publicity. So they'll get their money back. The big question is, he's been out of the game about 10 years. Does he still have it? I know he's been close to the players, but does he still have it? I suspect he probably does.
I think he does too, because one thing, he will have some of the great assistant coaches around him because he can afford to pay him. He's going to have some great assistant coaches around him, helping him, to chart his course. And that's very important, man. Your staff is very important. And one of the things too, did they go by? Did they skip over the Rooney Rule? What did you hear on that, Gary?
Well, it's kind of hard to. I mean, did they even use the Rooney Rule?
Yeah.
We don't even know.
Yeah, they faked it. They did. They faked it. They brought in one of their assistant coaches, black, and interviewed him. So knowing he wasn't gonna get the job, so they went through the changes, which was a smart move.
Going through the motions.
Well, it's a smart move on their part because now that assistant coach or whoever they brought in, now he got some exposure, and you never know. Maybe he'll get it next year or some other job because there are some black coaches in the league who got turned down the first time who eventually got good jobs. I think Mike Tomlin was one of them.
Mm-hmm. What about the situation, Chris, in Cincinnati? How about that? They brought the coach back.
Yeah, he's gonna be in the front office and still involved that franchise. I think he's really close with the owner. They're very tight knit.
That's good.
Tight knit organization. Yeah, I think it's good. Marvin Lewis. I mean, he never really got as far as they wanted, but he was not a bad coach. He's a great defensive mind. They have a great defense. They build a culture. When you remember what the Bengals were before he got there,
right? That's
my
right.
God, like he's their Bill Belichick because they were Browns level bad.
That's right.
And now they're a playoff contender from then.
Gary, one of the big things that I was able to witness on, because I very seldom watch him. I go through the remote. But Stephen A. Smith has been trying to get Marvin Harris fired for years. I mean, this trying to get him fired. Now, this week, he went off on Jon Gruden, not only taking the job with the 49ers, but he came up with, he was pissed off that they had a nerve to give him a piece of the team. That was the rumor, that he was going to get a piece of the team. And I'm listening to this fool. I said, man, do you know that's how they do? They look out for each other. We don't look out for each other. Why not give them a piece of the team if that's what they want and they're comfortable with? But Stephen A. Smith just went off, man. I couldn't believe it, man. But since that time, I have not been able to read anything on that or hear anything else about it. But just for Stephen A. Smith he's become just a blowhard. He's become a clown and entertainer, man, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, there's not much more I can say about that. He's lost so much credibility as far as I'm concerned over the years by just being loud.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get to one of your good friends, Muhammad Ali. And I remember years ago, I saw Ali, and he's made this statement. And I'll share it, and I think it applies to Stephen A. Smith. Ali said, the empty wagon makes the most noise. And that's Stephen A. Smith. He's just talking loud and saying nothing.
Right. Well, while we're on that subject, I have a blog up on Black Men in America and on Inside Sports, original Inside Sports, and it's saying happy birthday to Muhammad Ali and Dr. Martin Luther King. And the reason what inspired me to put that blog up this early Of course, it's not. This is January, and of course, his birthday is the 15th. No, it's the 17th, and Martin Luther King's is the 17th. And they're gonna have Martin Luther King Day. Then we move right on into Black History Month. So I said, why not, pay tribute to this man? But what inspired me to that was I saw a piece from somebody on CNN came up with a commentary saying, "What would Martin Luther King say to Donald Trump?" And I thought to myself, well, what would Martin Luther King say to the black athlete today? What would he say to Black America? Because as far as I'm concerned, they have dropped the ball. How you feel about that, Chris?
There's actually a TV show called The Boondocks. It was a very very funny animated show that used to come on by Aaron McGregor on Cartoon Network, and he actually had an episode where what would happen if Martin Luther King was in modern day, and it'd be a lot of disappointment.
Yeah.
I think it would just be a lot of disappointment. Yeah. I don't even know what he would have to say to Trump. That is.
Yeah, that's another thing.
We need a whole show for that.
Gary, you want to jump in on that?
Well, I don't know. I'm telling you, I'm shaking my head because I'm wondering if he would even talk to Trump. But based on what I've been able to know about Dr. King, he has, the whole nonviolent thing. But I'm wondering if even he would even take a chance trying to reason with Trump.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this guy's, it's hard to reason with him. But I guess if anyone could do anything or say anything, it would be Dr. King. But as far as what he would say to Donald Trump, or I don't know, but the black athletes,
yeah, well,
to exercise some common sense.
Yeah, and not only exercise some common sense, and to black folks in America, period, we can't blame all our troubles on Donald Trump. We had troubles before Donald Trump took office. All Donald Trump did was come in and open up the closet for these racists to come out. You understand? But our leadership has done absolutely nothing, man, when it comes to the priorities of black folks. And I don't know if you guys have read about what happened over in Baltimore just a few days ago, where these black little kids in school without heat, man. In school without heat. Now, how they gonna be in school without heat, Gary? Because I remember when I first hooked up with the Maryland State Lottery when I was at WST, that's been, 25 years ago. The reason for the lottery, they said, was to put money into the school system to help our kids. But that was nothing but a come on. And here they talking about they got overheated systems, outdated systems, and kids are in school and can't learn because they got 2 or 3 coats on trying to stay warm. And any one of you take it.
If there was in any other county, a majority county, that would not be tolerated. But in a county where it's mostly black and people of color, it just seems like we put up with that, and our politicians seem to be okay that that's acceptable for us, and it's not. It shouldn't be. Everybody knows even if you don't have an educational background, children cannot learn in that kind of environment, and teachers can't teach in that kind of environment because of all the distractions. It's unconscionable, and I think some politicians need to be held accountable, and somebody's got some explaining to do.
Yeah, I think some heads need to roll. I think they don't value those black votes. They don't care as much about the black community because they don't see those votes as valuable. So people need to speak with their votes. They need to get the people who are misallocating these funds and doing things like that. They need to get them out, and they need to do that at the local level. It's not just the presidential race, like you said, that matters. Right. It's your local races, and these are the people that affect your community directly. So people need to be involved, and they need to be politically active. And if you don't like a policy or what's going on, you could vote. You got to use your votes.
Our problem from where I'm sitting, because I've been working out in the streets for almost 50 years now, and I've been able to see up close and personal that our priorities are not in order. I mean, this gang banging and black kids shooting each other. Just recently over in Douglas Elementary in Douglas Recreation Department in Southeast Washington, some kids shot this guy for his shoes, for his Nike shoes. They chased him down, girl, and shot him dead and took his shoes off his feet, man. And this stuff has been going on for much, much too long. And these politicians and leaders always say the same thing. Let's have a town hall meeting and come out of there doing the same thing, absolutely nothing, man. They just had a shooting up here in Washington, D.C. at Park View up in Northwest where a young man was shot. And the first thing one of the leaders said, well, let's have a town hall meeting. Man, look, we are talking the talk, but we are not walking the walk.
Yeah, we've had enough town hall meetings.
I'm
It
telling
really
you.
requires people at the grassroots level making a commitment that they want to get involved, that they want to do something. And a lot of people always look to somebody else. Oh, this other group will do it. No, it's among us. We have to do it.
That's right. And the thing about that was so sad, Gary, and I don't have to tell you this, but when you speak up and call it, when you speak truth to power, you automatically call a troublemaker. So I've been a troublemaker for a long time. So I understand what's going on, and they don't want to hear the truth. Because people are saying, Harold, why are you never invited to these meetings? You really are one of the few that has the experience and been out here with these young folks. Because they don't want anybody around that's going to be able to know the history and tell the truth. They are threatened and very insecure. That's why our kids are suffering today.
Yeah, another word that people use sometimes to describe folks like you and sometimes folks like me, I've been called an agitator.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember my grandmother told me one time, an agitator is that thing in the washing machine that gets the dirt out. So don't worry about it. Just keep being an agitator.
She was right on the one. Hey guys, let's go back. Let's go back to Donald Trump, man, and this new book that's out. That's a bestseller with his help. What about this new book, Chris? Tell him.
Yeah, I don't think I think it's an interesting book, definitely the anecdotes and the quotes in it, but I don't think there are any bombshells. I think the mainstream media is overplaying it like this is some new information.
Right.
It's like breaking news: Donald Trump is a moron. Like we could see that every day. Like that's not something that's like, oh wow, really? He's stupid, and everyone around him knows he's stupid. Like oh my goodness, like so. I mean, I think they're overplaying it on that, but I think what people are really missing is the money laundering. Like there's a lot of quotes of Don Jr. and saying how much money they get out of Russia, and they're idiots. His sons are just as smart as he is, and they're walking right into Mueller's investigation. He's in the Deutsche Bank accounts. It's not about his racism and him being a moron or him being childlike. It's about the money laundering, and if anything, if he goes down for anything, it'll be for that, for the corruption.
Big Gary?
Yeah, I think Chris makes a great point about there's nothing shocking about Donald Trump, or should be to people, because all you have to do is read his tweets. He tells you who he is just by those tweets. But I think when it all said and done, follow the money. And I think that's what Mueller's doing. He's following the money, and it's going to go back to Jared Kushner. It's going to go back to the Trump organization, and I think there'll be some shady dealings, and that's why Trump is so agitated. And he always I think his lawyers keep telling him, oh, it's going to be over soon. It's going to be over soon. I think they have to tell him that to try to calm him down, because he is really getting agitated as Mueller gets closer to the money.
Yeah.
Good child.
I think that's key. I tell you what else is happening too in this scenario. I see Omarosa having a bestseller now because they done set it up for her. I mean, I don't know where she's going to be coming from, but she should have some dynamite stuff.
Oh yeah.
From The Apprentice up until the White House.
There's been so many leaks coming out this White House, and it's been so people have. I think people have heard a great term. We have outrage fatigue when it comes to Trump. There's so many things that he does that's outrageous, and I have right wing friends and people that defend Trump, and when I ask them this, like, think of if Obama has done or said half of the things that Trump has done. Sean Hannity's head would explode on Fox News Live. Like, they wouldn't even know what to do. People would be so outraged, say he's a thug, say he's this. But Donald Trump does so many outrageous and ridiculous things and says stupid things all the time that we're desensitized to it.
All right. Okay.
That's a good point.
All right, Gary. Well, I tell you, it's going to be interesting. Now, tonight they're having one of these award shows. And they're going to have the Hollywood red carpet, which they're going to turn into the black carpet because everybody's supposed to come dressed in black. Women, and we're talking about sexual abuse in the entertainment field in politics and all around us. I was wondering if they had taken the racism as serious as they've taken this sexism, the world would be in a better place. Don't you think, Gary?
Yes, yes, I do. I mean, I don't think you can equate the two. Both are very important, but one has a historical significance that is just beyond comprehension in terms of what it means to the society and to generations of people. And I'm not trying to diminish the sexism part, but I think it's easier for people to deal with sexism than to deal with racism, because racism requires really a lot of hard work.
Yeah, pretty much similar thoughts. Like they're both serious issues, but like you can't equate one over the other and say this is more important and that's more important. They're both systematic issues that aren't easy to fix, but one is much easier to fix than the other. Like you said, like sexual harassment is terrible, but it's a culture that can end, and it's already starting to come around. People are in Hollywood, and that culture can start to turn around. But racism is rooted systematically in our laws and in the way the government functions, and so it's a lot messier of an issue to actually want to fix. So I agree with my dad.
So one thing we got to understand too about these isms, sexism and racism, it started back in slavery. You understand? Where of course the sexism, where the slave owner used to take the slaves' wives and bring them in the house and rape them. You understand? All this ties right in. They both tie in together. They both started way back in the day, and it's hard to deal with the racism because it's all over our whole society.
Yeah, racism is baked into our policies.
Yeah.
Even this week, Jeff Sessions is cracking down on legal marijuana, but not for those, the 50-year-old, white mom that's investing in marijuana. He's cracking down on the brown people and black people that smoke marijuana. That's what he's trying to do. And that's really obvious. There was a story that there was a party and they found an ounce of weed, the police, and they charged over 60 kids with the same ounce of weed. Like that's ridiculous. Like if you go to a white frat party, that would never happen. Those kids are all black, obviously, but it's just the little things that we're talking about, that the racism is rooted into our policies. Like these are laws that there's not easy to overtake, especially when you have the Keebler elf as the attorney general right now, who is.
Gary, before we get out of here, tell us a little about Black Men in America and how you came up with that idea, and where did it all start, Gary?
I started Black Men in America back in 2001 is when the website launched, but I really started the concept of it the day of the Million Man March. I have been thinking about the images about black men, which are always overwhelmingly negative. And I was flying back from Las Vegas the day of the Million Man March. And as I was landing and I could see all the men covering the capital area, I thought, you know what? The internet is the great equalizer. It doesn't take a lot of money for me to get my views out and to hook up and connect with other black men, because all the black men that I know and hang around were positive, but all the images that I saw in the media were mostly negative. And I said, well, I'm just one voice, one person. I'm going to start developing and sketching out something where I can maybe just try to make it a issue of balance about how black men are perceived. And we've been doing it since 2001, and to help with people like you and Mike Ramey and just a lot of guest hosts, we started to make a change and make a difference. We're one of the top 10 websites in the African American community for online communities. So I thank everyone who visits the site at www.blackmeninamerica.com. You can read everything that's Harold Bell on that page, as well as Chris Johnson.
Well, Gary, I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be on the Johnson & Johnson report. We got to do this again, and so please don't be a stranger. Okay.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
All right, Chris, thanks again, man, for your input, man, and keep on doing the great things you're doing and supporting the Legends of Inside Sports.
Always, like I say, Legends of Inside Sports. We do this every week, and also, like I say, I'm also a contributor on Black Men in America. I do movie reviews, I do TV reviews, I do sports articles, all types of stuff. So you check me out there for anything else. Mr. Harold Bell, this man right here, has got some great content on there as well.
Well, that's going to be it for the Legends of Inside Sports. I'm Harold Bell, and remember that every black face you see is not your brother, and every white face is not your enemy. Until next time, you can color me gone.